Hey there, April, pro therapist from Mount North, here with your mini pro tip of the day. Today we're going to talk about manipulation and what to do about it. There's three main tactics that people will use when they're trying to manipulate you and trying to get you to do what they want you to do, whether it be malicious that they're intending to manipulate or they just don't really know how else to get what they want, so they fall back on these tactics. If you look at your situations, you are probably going to see some of these tactics popping up with some people in your world because it happens to the best of us. So, tactic number one, being a bully. Tactic number two, using the guilt trip. And tactic number three, putting you on a pedestal. Now, if you want to know what to do about these tactics, if they're coming at you, stay tuned till the end, and I will give you a trick and some tips on what to do about it. Let me tell you a story. So, when my daughter was a teenager, she was 15 years old, and she was dating a 16-year-old boy. I didn't like this boy. I didn't like him. I didn't think he was very mature. I didn't think he was very reliable. I didn't trust his judgment. So, but I was happy because I had this rule across the board for her with any boy that you have to be 16 years old to ride in a car with a boy. So, she calls me up one day and she says, "Mom, I want to go for a ride in a car with this boy. He's asking me if I can just go with him and saying, if your mom says no, let's just get her to say yes." So I was like, "No, because the rule is no until you're 16. And she says, because she was a good kid, she pretty much followed the rules. She's like, "Okay, whatever." So approximately 10 minutes later, I get a text message from what I'm going to refer to as the mini terrorist, because that's how I saw him at this point. So text message number one says things like, "You are a psycho, you're crazy, no wonder your daughter hates you because you're a tyrant and you don't let her do anything." Was I furious? Yeah, because I'm human, but I'm also a therapist. And my other reaction, the first reaction was, "You little..." And the second reaction was, "Oh, so this is the game we're going to play right now. Bring it, little boy. You can't put anything past me. Because I'm a therapist and I know these things. I do this every day. You're not going to manipulate me. I can see it coming 100 miles away." Okay, so that was tactic number one, the bully. Rip you apart, tear you down, hit you where it hurts, try to make you feel like a horrible person who needs to change and needs to give what they're asking you to give. So what did I do with that? Did I, tell him, "How dare you speak to me that way? I am an adult who deserves respect"? Nope. What I did was nothing. I didn't respond because I knew where this game was going. And guess what? We refuse to negotiate with terrorists. Don't negotiate with the terrorists. You will not win. Their game has rules that they make up on the fly. You can't win their game, so don't even play. So I sat back and I waited. And it only took 5 minutes. I'm not even kidding. It was 5 minutes, and I got thrown at me what I knew was coming, which was tactic number two, the guilt trip. My dad died when I was 3, and she is the only person who can help me. And I really, really need her to ride in a car with me today because I need her, and she's the only person. Okay, I sound like a cold-hearted, evil whatever right now. And the truth is, I do care that this teenage boy was struggling because he had lost a parent when he was little. I knew there were underlying things going on that he needed help with. However, this was not the time to address that. And this was not the way to address that. And he was not going to get better by my daughter riding in a car with him today. So, did he maybe need some help and some resources and, some other things? Sure. But that was a blatant guilt trip that I wasn't going to fall for. And it was kind of like in my head, well, I'm sorry these things are happening to you. You need some help. If I can help with that, I would help with that, but not in the way of allowing my child to ride in a car with you. So that's not the type of help that I would give. And aside from that, I knew that this was just another tactic coming at me. I knew that this was just another tactic, the guilt trip. So what did I do? Because we don't negotiate with terrorists, I did nothing. I didn't respond, and I waited because I knew that tactic number 3 was on its way. And 5 to 10 minutes later, it came through. Wow, you're the best mom ever. I wish I had a mom like you, because you're actually, now that I think about it, kind of amazing. And she is so lucky that she has you. And can I please just pick her up? We're only going to be gone about 2 hours. And can I please just this one time? Because you're so awesome. Can she ride in the car with me? Really? Really? So guess what I did? You already know the answer to this. I did nothing. I did not respond to that because we don't negotiate with terrorists. We don't negotiate with them. And then it stopped because then he was out of tactics. Now, sometimes people don't stop. Sometimes people will rapid fire at you, sometimes within the same sentence, sometimes within the same conversation. First, they'll be, you're horrible, you're awful, poor me, how could you do this to me? I really, really need you. You're terrible for not being there for me and doing this for me and helping me. And I really, really need you. You're the only person. You see how that can look? If you look at, some people in your world that you may have suspected had been manipulating you, you will see those tactics one after the other in rapid fire, because what's happening is they're desperately trying to get you to give them what they need. Don't play that game. Now, sometimes people will genuinely give you appreciation. How do you tell the difference if somebody's putting you on a pedestal or, genuinely giving you a compliment and being appreciative? Well, the difference is that when someone's genuinely giving you a compliment, appreciating you, it doesn't tend to immediately be followed by a demand. So it would be like, you're great, you're awesome, I'm so glad I have you in my life, period. If there's a manipulation, you're going to see it packaged up, probably with some guilt trip, maybe with some bullying. It's all going to come at you in a package, and immediately following the appreciation or shortly thereafter, there's going to be a demand attached to it. So it's going to sound something like, oh my gosh, like, you're the only person that understands me. You just get it. I don't know what I would do without you. I really need somebody to watch my my cat this week, like, because you're the only one. You're the only one that could do it. And like, I know I don't really do anything for you, but could you help me? Just, you have to help me. It can only be you. You see how that might look a little bit different? So, pick it apart. Look at it. If you're seeing all of those tactics in combination, the person is probably trying to manipulate you. So what if you've analyzed all this and you've decided, you know what? This feels a lot like manipulation. What do you do about it? Well, one, you don't negotiate with terrorists. So you can choose to just not respond to it. Just don't respond. If that doesn't feel like the right option for you, another option is to be a broken record and set your boundary. Another way I could have handled this particular situation was I could have said to this boy, like, no, I'm sorry, she's not allowed to ride in a car with a boy until she's 16. And had he kept coming at me, I would have just repeated, no, I'm sorry, she's not allowed to ride in a car with a boy until she's 16. I wouldn't have changed it. I wouldn't have added to it. I wouldn't have explained it. Because when you start to get into like explaining why, you just give them ammunition to argue your reasons. I didn't want to give them any ammunition to argue my reasons. I didn't want to have a conversation about it. There was not going to be a conversation about it. I made a rule. The rule stuck. If you don't like it, it's not my problem. So I guess you're just going to have to accept it. So be a broken record or refuse to play the game, but refuse to play the game on the manipulator's terms. You will not win that game because they like to change the rules. So hope that helps. If this tip helped, come on over, subscribe to mountnorthbasecamp.com, where we go more in depth with other people who are relating on the same issue. If you're already a member there, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.